Okay, I hereby call this meeting to order. If you wish to speak during the public comment portion of the meeting, please complete a request to speak card located on the sign-in table and turn it into your city clerk, Amanda, prior to the public comment time. If you are attending by Zoom, please use the raise hand option during public comment. It is recommended that you seek resolution of a complaint through the appropriate city department by scheduling a meeting with the city council member or city staff before bringing the matter to the city council. The time limit for presentations will be, for the arranged presentations will be 10 minutes. Now we will stand for the flag salute. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amanda, can we have a roll call, please?
Councilor Baumgartner?
Here.
Councilor Cuevas?
Here.
Councilor Pettigrew?
Here.
Here. Councilor Rockwell?
Here.
Councilor Salata?
Here.
Mayor Kiefer?
I think he's excused. So we'll start with the approval of minutes, City Council meeting minutes, January 6, 2026.
I move to approve the City Council meeting minutes, January 6, 2026, as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, any councilor discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, approval of minutes, City Council special meeting minutes, January 13, 2026.
Move to approve the City Council meeting minutes, January 13, 2026, as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, any councilor discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we'll move on to the financial report. Finance Director Barajas.
Thank you. We're halfway through our fiscal year as of December 31st, 2025. And a couple of things that I did want to point out was our garbage fund. I did mention last month we hadn't received their invoice. So in December, we paid out 2 invoices. That's why the expenses there are so high, plus also the majority of the cost for the garbage vouchers. So our garbage vouchers cost about $6,000 for the month of October. They were very much utilized. The other thing is our interest rates are starting to come down about 1/4 percentage point about on all of them except for our savings at Bank of EO. That one has remained at 5%, but all the other ones we are starting to see that slight decline. We probably anticipate another small decline about quarterly for a while. And our Main Street that is now open, we had a very large payment. Most of that was all towards the street fund because most of everything that is left is street work on Main Street. The water and sewer line work of it is all complete, so we shouldn't have any more payments for those funds, except for our street reserve. But those are kind of our big items. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay. So formal proceedings, public hearing, the economic opportunity analysis. The public hearing on the adoption of the economic opportunity analysis is called to order. The request to adopt the economic opportunity analysis as a guidance document for a planned update to the City of Boardman comprehensive plan to inform Goal 9 economics. The hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. First, the staff report, followed by any additional correspondence that has been received. Questions of staff from the City Council, public testimony in the following order. Testimony in favor of the proposed adoption, testimony opposed to the proposed adoption, neutral testimony, rebuttal testimony, questions of staff, if any, by City Council, discussion by the City Council. A decision may be made by the city council at the close of the hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time, date, and place certain in the future. If the matter is reset to a time, date, and place certain in the future, this will be the only notice of that date you will receive. If you wish to speak, please fill out a testimony card and submit it to the city clerk. I will then call on people who want to speak. Any questions should be addressed through me because the hearing is being recorded. Please state both your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. Please keep testimony concise and to the point. Given the number of people here, we will limit testimony to 3 minutes per person. Please note, failure to raise an issue with sufficient specificity to afford the city council and the other parties an opportunity to respond to the issue prohibits an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. At this time, I ask the members of the city council to disclose any conflicts of interest. Please indicate the nature of the conflict and whether you intend to participate in or abstain from the hearing. Okay, hearing none. Planning official Carla McLean will now present the staff report.
Don't I get to object to conflicts?
No.
I think
So, are you sure that's right?
you can raise that
am
with
right
the city manager, but not at this point.
When can I raise it then?
Thank you.
It's an honest question.
So Council President Cuevas, members of the City Council, good evening. We've been at this for a while. We're to adoption number 3 in a long range of items. The economic opportunities analysis is an important input to the future update of our comprehensive plan in respect particularly to goal 9, which is our economics goal. I'm not going to share a lot tonight because Andrew Parrish and Brendan Buckley should both be online. They were the consultants that led this effort, and I've asked them to be brief. I will just reemphasize this now. And because I think all of you attended the joint work session that we had with the Planning Commission a couple months back. Nothing has changed since that draft. And so I'm going to pause and just turn it over to Andrew and Brendan. And I'm sure you guys have figured out who's going first and who's going second.
Hello, my name is Andrew Parrish. I work for a firm called MIG, and I'm actually not seeing Brendan Buckley on the line here. I apologize. This is an early version of this slideshow from the Planning Commission meeting in January, but I can hit a couple of quick highlights, Carla, if that sounds good to you, and then we can play it by ear after that.
Thank you, Andrew.
So the economic opportunities analysis is something that jurisdictions in the state of Oregon are required to complete, and it is an evaluation of existing conditions of kind of the economic conditions within the city, and then looking ahead about 20 years, what industries are expected to grow and by how much, and how does that compare with the land inventory that you have in the city to accommodate those future needs. This includes a statement of economic objectives for the city, what types of industries do you want to support, and what other special kind of workforce development needs might you have. It includes statements of local, state, and national economic trends, an analysis of target industries for the city of Boardman, a forecast of numbers of jobs and associated land need for those jobs, and a comparison to the inventory of employment land within the city, and then finally some findings and recommendations. I think you've seen most of this information before, so just a couple of highlights. Apologies, I'm just going to kind of tab through here. The target industries that were most important in this analysis, we identified the largest sectors of food processing, transportation, warehousing, utilities, tourism, healthcare, and information as the city's current largest sectors, fastest growing sectors in the city. Information is a big one there, and we'll be talking a bit about data centers in a moment. relative to kind of national trends, food processing, utilities, agriculture, and transportation and warehousing are big in the city of Boardman. And so the target industries, what this all comes together is the city has some policies in this document to support the industries of kind of information in the form of data centers, construction, healthcare, and retail, dining, and lodging. There's some information about the standard kind of way that forecasts get done in the state of Oregon, and then an adjusted forecast, which is actually looking at the way that the state does this and saying we actually expect more growth, more rapid growth than that. And so that's the forecast that's been used, kind of assuming a more rapid growth. For the identified need of data centers, we looked at some example developments that have been constructed recently, and they come in at about 140 acres per site. They are typically in kind of this configuration with a substation, a number of large buildings. And so we're using this as a template to identify what the kind of 20-year future need might be for the city of Boardman, and rolling that into the statement of need here. That turns into a gross acreage need, and so we've basically pulled out everything that isn't in that data center category as about a need of 124 acres for new kind of commercial and industrial and other types of uses. And then that data center item in particular is a large singular need of 625 acres. So on the land inventory side, we look at what is available in the city today for employment land. And we're really trying to get to that figure of net buildable acres. So not only does it need to have the zoning, it needs to be unconstrained by wetlands and other items. And then the city can adopt some policies to address any infrastructure constraints or property owner kind of willingness to develop and other market issues. So we looked at, again, all the land within the city, urban growth boundary today. So you see the blue land is categorized as employment land and the yellow is residential. We took out constrained lands in these kind of hatched areas for floodplains and identified wetlands. And so we're left with some information about the net developable acreage, what properties that aren't developed currently, or maybe they only have just a little bit of development on them, but should be considered as a potential site for future employment uses. And particularly for larger industrial uses, the site size is very important. And so this document has a breakdown of, how many small sites are there, how many very large sites are there left, and what designations are those. So this is sort of the takeaway here. We have an identified deficit of 473 acres for employment land for the urban growth boundary of the city of Boardman. And this is something that will be taken forward into kind of policy and urban growth boundary discussions as a later step. Let me see. I think I'll stop there. We have some recommendations as far as comprehensive plan policies and development code, but I think those are going to be rolled into a later effort. So I'll pause there. Does that sound like a good summary there, Carla?
Thank you, Andrew. Yes. So any questions of Andrew at this point in time? Again, this has been a lengthy process. We started over a year ago. We held several public advisory committee meetings, had a lot of good interaction with the members of the PAC. As I have the last two go-arounds with this, with the TSP and the Parks Master Plan. Much thanks to those who participated. It was very helpful. So the action before you tonight is to consider the economic opportunities analysis. I think I'm going to anticipate your next question. Is there any additional correspondence that's been received? And there is. I believe early this morning, we received an email which our city clerk, she and I worked together and compiled that, and I think it's been posted to the website. So it's from Mr. Tallman. It's very similar to the previous emails that we've received. There's nothing particularly pertinent to your decision tonight that I can discern from his comment. Unless there's any questions, that would conclude my staff report at this point in time.
Just my question more or less is, where do you get? We're 400 and some odd acres short, or would you end up getting 400 acres, can't build land?
So Andrew, if you could pull that one slide back up, kind of that summary slide with the acres. So what happens is that they looked at that map earlier, there's the blue and the yellow, and then they went through the refinement in that, and they identify the acres that are available. And there's kind of two filters that runs through, and anything I get wrong, Andrew will correct here, but they kind of run it through two filters. One, do you have enough land? And then second, based on the target industries, do you have the right dimensions of land? So we might have, if we had 500 acres, but they were all in 5-acre parcels, it wouldn't meet the needs of those who need a 50-acre parcel. So it kind of goes through those two filters. One, is there enough acres? And then are the acres available in parcel sizes that meet the needs for the industries that you want to attract to your community? And so what you see in that is that the 20-year demand for commercial is at 37 acres. We have 150 of those acres. So we actually have a net surplus of commercial space of about 112 acres. On the industrial side, right, and this is inside the city limits. The 20-year demand for industrial would be 87 acres. We have 126 acres, which means we have a surplus of 39. And then on the data center side, the demand is 625. We don't have any available. And so we have a deficit of that of 625. That gets us to the negative 473. So yes, this is land inside the city limits. So
Just one minor correction there. It's land within the urban growth boundary. There might be
right within the urban
difference
growth
here and
boundary.
there.
Thank you. And then I think is it the next slide where you get into the lot sizes?
These
or is
are
it the
yeah, this is the lot size kind of land that is either vacant or partially vacant. So a number of lots that are in the kind of 1 to 5 acre range, a few sites in the 10 to 20 acre range. I think there was one that was in the 40 to 50 acre range that is zoned commercially currently, but none of these very large 150 acre sites that are the ones that are being desired for the data centers.
And I think that on just the regular industrial commercial, we don't have any that would fit that 20 to 30 or 30 to 40 acre size. So we kind of have that deficit. If somebody's looking for a 25 acre parcel, there's not one available. I mean, they could potentially acquire something by cobbling a couple together, assuming they're adjacent to each other, or dividing out of a larger parcel, which then kind of changes that whole configuration. And so, Andrew, I think there's also a slide that kind of shows what we need from the perspective of actually like by parcel size.
Yes.
That slide in there.
Take a look there. Well,
maybe it was later.
Yeah, let me take a look.
So kind of what we get to is to meet that demand, we need to find some parcels that are in that 20 to 40 acre range, and then the data center sites. So again, this analysis, the benefit of this analysis is that it will inform our comprehensive plan update relative to economics and policy updates. It will provide us some code amendments. There are a couple things specifically that staff, we asked them to provide for us. But then it also provides that mechanism for an urban growth boundary expansion. So to expand where the urban growth boundary is and where the future city limits could be, this is evidence that can be used in that urban growth boundary expansion process for employment lands. So it kind of puts the marker out there that says the city of Boardman has identified that there's this targeted lands need for data centers and other industrial needs in here. And therefore, if we needed to, if Joe came in tomorrow and said, I want to build a widget factory and it fits that 20 to 40 acre component, and there's just not a 20 to 40 acre piece here, but we could identify something adjacent where we could do an urban growth boundary expansion and an annexation, this would provide the evidence to support that kind of action. Hopefully I'm answering your question.
Yes, you are. Now, where does the need come in? Like the city needs this much land because why?
So yeah, what Johnson Economics does as an economics firm is they look at the national trends, the regional trends, the state trends, and I think really important for us, the local trends. What's happening here and in Hermiston and Umatilla? What is going on here? What do they know? And what are they learning in that economic world about what is happening? Where is growth occurring? What are the industries that are experiencing growth and have indicated an interest that this region is a good region for them to cite? That's where that all comes from. I am not going to pretend to understand what Brendan Buckley does. I didn't do all that great in that econ class in college either. So I'm not going to even try. But they take all of that economic data and they sort it through. When you read the economic analysis, so Hermiston's recently gone through this, and their economic analysis is not dissimilar to ours. It's more targeted to Hermiston. There's certainly some facets of Hermiston that's different than Boardman. The same firm, Johnson Economics, did an economic opportunities analysis to support a recent zone change in the county where they converted 1,300 acres plus or minus from farmland to industrial land, and again, for data center development and growth.
I'll just
Andrew,
note
would there
that,
be anything you'd add to that?
Yeah, this slide on the screen here talks about the two types of forecasts that are generally done. There's one that's based on a population forecast that says the rate of employment growth is going to grow commensurate with the population forecast that the state has. Their forecasts are usually pretty conservative. Most jurisdictions say, hey, we're actually expecting a lot more growth than what you're showing here, and the state's sort of revising some of their thinking kind of long term to accommodate that. But what the alternative or the adjusted forecast that's more often used takes a look at that work about target industries, some thoughts about how those industries are growing nationwide, what and region and countywide, and what proportion of those industries occur within the city of Boardman today, how we expect them to grow, and also looking back at the growth rate since 2010 is the time that we have here. So the city's actually grown at an annual rate of 4% per year since 2010 in terms of employment growth, which is very robust. So we're not projecting that out year on year for the next 20 years. It's actually much less at about 2.6%, but that's still much higher than that population forecast growth. And so that's basically what accounts for the non-data center portion of the growth. And then the data centers themselves, that is a kind of special site need, and the state has said a number of times, they recognize that there seems to be an unlimited demand at the moment for that, and those are addressed through those special site needs and the other work that's in the EOA.
The other thing I would add to this discussion based on your question is that in the process with the Public Advisory Committee, there was a lot of commentary, there was a lot of discussion about what is happening locally. It was very interesting because the first day of our first Public Advisory Committee meeting was the same day that Good Shepherd announced the purchase of the property on the other side of Main Street. And my response to Brendan was that was announced today, and you just need to understand, you need to make sure those healthcare numbers reflect that we now have a medical provider who has made a specific commitment to this community to bring services here. And we made sure that the numbers, those projected numbers reflected that. Same thing we talked about the permits that we've been either issuing or are in some kind of process within the queue around hotels and other types of food or tourism kind of activities, so that that industry would be adequately represented as well. Again, we were dealing with a number of hotel permits, understanding that not everyone permitted is going to be built. But given that we had dealt with 3 hotel permits, we had a pretty good sense that at least one would get built and that the number should reflect that. So there's a lot of real world stuff that's been built into this as well.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay. I will now call on those who wish to testify in favor of the proposed adoption. I will now call on those who wish to testify in opposition of the proposed adoption.
All right, thank you. My name is Jonathan Tallman. I've been a resident since 1978. I went to Riverside High School. I went to Sam Boardman Elementary School as well too. So I take great pride in being a community member. I own the Farmers Cup Coffee Shop with my mother out there, but I'm here on my own cognizant. First of all, non-disclosure agreements. Everybody here at the City Hall has signed one, and we have not mentioned who this, data centers is for. This stuff needs to be shown. We need to be honest, just like with kids, about who is really driving this force on it. The first thing I want to bring up are the economic rents, and I also added to an email of a video on More Perfect Union. We are experiencing project demand tied to large-scale industrial expansion and a transient workforce. That means RVs. That means people that are just here on a temporary basis. The dynamic plays local residents and local businesses in a direct competition with direct housing. That's why your rent is so high here in Boardman. It's very expensive. That matters because then your parents or people are not able to spend money because they're paying more in rent because transient workforce is driving things up. The economic opportunity must also be real public costs and externalities. Second, the economic development cannot be evaluated on a project upside while ignoring public burdens. Recently, reporting has highlighted serious groundwater nitrate contamination concerned in this region and the multiplier effect that the industrial growth can impose on water systems on a long-term accountability. My point is not to litigate headlines. It's that the EOA must evaluate this opportunity alongside infrastructure strain and water impacts and public health concerns, not in isolation. The EOA is not occurring in isolation, is a part of a cumulative and implementation chain. Third, I want the record to reflect that the EOA is being advanced alongside the city's TSP, the city's Parks Master Plan, the Parks Recreation Adopted Plan, the County Heritage and Recreational Elements, and the Ports Corridor and Trail Action. Individually, each one is described as conceptual. That just means planning. That means, oh, maybe. It's not factual. It's not evidence. It's not putting it down that this is what we're going to do. But collectively, these actions begin to function as a connected implementation across jurisdictions. My concern is the corridor advancement through the segmentation where multiple agencies take incremental steps that together create real commitments. Again, I want to go back to the non-disclosure agreements. What this allows people to do is not tell the real truth when they cannot disclose who this is really for, what this is really driving, and it doesn't make it transparent. They just had a water meeting, and that water meeting, which affects this in the EOA, is not telling us why your water bills are probably going to go up 10 to 12% conceptually speaking. And that is very important because just like your rent is going high up, your water bill and your sewer bill is going to go up. Just after we just did a school bond, just after we did a water bond as well too. All those things, if I use your car 95% of the time, I should not have to pay even half of what that car takes for insurance, gas, oil. I'm saying the people that drive it are the people that should pay for it. Doesn't that make sense to you guys? I think that makes complete sense on the whole aspect of it.
Okay.
Hey, what, she got unlimited amount of time. I get the same amount of time as she does. Okay, that's
I think I
fair.
announced at the
That- that-
beginning, you
that-
get it 3 minutes.
That's equitable, though. You just talked about equitable. This is equitable, what I'm
didn't-
asking for.
I didn't say anything about
Now,
it.
keep in mind, you've signed a
I said the
non-disclosure
rules were
agreement.
3 minutes.
You signed a non-disclosure agreement, so you're representing
You.
Amazon, not the city
I
residents.
do appreciate, Jonathan, your input. Thank you.
But it's truthful and factual.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to testify in opposition? Does anyone wish to provide neutral testimony? And does the applicant wish to provide rebuttal of the testimony?
I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, we reviewed the email that was presented, and there's nothing that's specifically applicable to your decision tonight.
Does a member of the city council have any further questions for staff or the audience?
Quick question for you.
Me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would love, do you have a copy of my non-disclosure agreement or something?
Please, have you signed one?
No,
You have not signed one. Okay, then I'm wrong. Then I'm wrong.
you're
But
wrong about a lot of shit.
Has everybody signed one else? Signed one?
Not a clue.
You know, I have it if you want to see it. You want to see them?
Sure.
So what's your email address? Because I didn't see it online.
I
I
can,
can send them to you.
yeah, we can do that at a different time.
This is very important.
Right. And I think you can give it to him after the meeting. If there are no further questions, I'm going to
What's your
close.
email address?
I'm going to close the public testimony portion of this hearing. The public testimony portion of the hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion by the city council? If the city council wishes to continue the matter for any reason, the hearing should be continued to a date, time, place certain to avoid the need to publish new notice. Action on the corresponding resolution 4-2026 will occur later on the agenda. At this time, there should be clarity on approval or denial of the request to provide direction if change or denial of the decision of the council. I am going to go out of order and have the prearranged presentations from the Morrow County Schools Boardman so that the kids can exit a little bit early. I know it gets a little bit late sometimes. So we'll start with Sam Boardman Elementary.
Amanda, would you fix the microphone? Thank you.
Yeah.
Send to Brandon so I can give it to Jonathan.
Hello, Boardman City Council. Thank you for having us
here. My name is Delilah Martinez.
My name is Isaías Madrigal.
We are third graders, students at Sam Boardman Elementary. We are here to share with you some of the exciting things going on in our school.
February has come quickly and we have some fun things happening this month. First is ELPA. In February, we begin preparing for the upcoming ELPA test. If you have a student that takes this test, please show them a lot of support this month.
February 5th is dressed as your career day at Sam Boardman. Let your students express their future dreams and dress for success.
Valentine's Day is February 14th. Please take your student about any Valentine's parties or celebrations they may be having in their classrooms. Spread the love.
February 16th is President Day. There will be no school.
We are having a family STEAM night on February 19th. Please join us to enjoy some fun science and art activities. The more we explore, the more we can all learn.
At the end of the month, we will be having our monthly Buccaneers Awards Assembly at San Boardman. This is a special time to celebrate those students who are going above and beyond. If you know a student of the month, be sure to congratulate them on a job well done. Families and parents are always welcome to attend to celebrate their students on February 28th at 3 p.m. Thank you for
having us, letting
letting
us speak to the community about all of the exciting things happening at San Boardman Elementary.
Thank you, guys. So Windy River is next.
Hello, City Council. I am Edelyn Romero, and this is Ruby Kearns. We are in 6th grade, and we will be representing Windy River. And I will start this by saying about what it's like at the Wolf Pack. I will start by saying that our second Wise Wolf Award is coming up. This is where students are recognized for outstanding achievements or character. It is always a great day to be a wolf. During February, teachers continued their focus on strengthening students' reading skills, mainly on phonics, which is really important for decoding and word understanding. We proceeded to make meaningful strides in this area, as well as targeted training for our 4 teachers and 5 aides in the phonics for reading curriculum. This program is to help struggling readers in higher grades with phonics, fluency, and comprehension.
This year, 4th grade did a level-wide Grinch Day. The word on the street is that the Grinch had come in the night before and scrambled all of their work. Math facts had been scrambled. They had to do an escape room to do some math, and all of their papers had been moved to different locations. All in the name of making learning fun. The culminating activity was when the Grinch showed up to Windy River to read a story to the kids. The Grinch read to a few other classes that day as well. It was awesome and fun. Our winter concert was well attended by Boardman community and showcased the hard work and enthusiasm of our students. Students sang their hearts out and demonstrated both confidence and joy in their performances. Mr. Asden did an outstanding job leading our students and fostering a genuine enjoyment of music. A highlight of the event was the entire school singing several songs together, creating a powerful sense of unity and school pride. The concert was a wonderful celebration of students' effort, community support, and the arts of Windy River.
At the end of January, WRE continued to focus on building community and student leadership through ASB assemblies, which were led by students. Our 4th through 6th grade planned and led school-wide assemblies with games. We were in charge of preparing games and the public speaking. These assemblies help with public speaking as well as confidence and teamwork, and have a great impact on the whole school. That is all for today. Thank you for having us.
I do want to say Sam Boardman and Windy River, that is exceptional public speaking that you guys are doing. And I know that your parents are very proud. Riverside. Do we have anybody from Riverside? No, okay. Nobody, okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming.
And you don't have
You
to
don't
stay.
have to stay, but you don't have to leave either.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Look, the baby's asleep.
Our public hearing was soothing, I think. So returning to formal proceedings, public hearing surplus, real property.
Perfect. That is me. So,
Hold
oh,
on.
sorry.
The public hearing on declaring surplus of real property located at 4N25E09CB, tax lot 4600 is called to order. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows: staff report, public testimony in the following order. Any testimony in support of the action, any testimony opposing the action, any neutral testimony. Then we will close the public testimony. After the record is closed for testimony, no further testimony will be heard from anyone unless the city council has a specific question. The city council may ask questions of staff, after which the city council will discuss the matter and make a decision. The city council may make a final decision tonight, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain in the future. If the matter is continued, this will be the only notice of that time and date you will receive. If you wish to speak, please fill out a testimony form and submit it to the city clerk. I will recognize those people who wish to speak. Any questions should be addressed through me. Please state both your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. As the hearing is being recorded, please keep testimony concise and to the point. Testimony should be on the action under consideration. Now, City Manager Hammond will now present the staff report.
Excellent. Thank you. Sorry for jumping the gun. Okay, so in March of last year, 2025, the city bought the piece of property listed. The reasoning behind purchase of the property is the city had water and sewer going through it. Louise is gone. I'm pretty sure that's right.
It is. Diagonally.
Yes, and the owner was ready to sell the property and we would have had to move it. We weren't ready to move it, so we just purchased the property. There have been some inquiries. When we purchased it, it's as listed there, it was for $121,896.42. The way that we're going to sell it is let people inquiry. This is a public notice, so people know that it's now been surplused. The real market value was based on the county assessor, and that's in the 2025. The other thing to note is we have an estimated $50,000 worth of moving the water and sewer pipe. That wouldn't, it'd be nice to recoup some of that. We have to do it regardless, but that's all the information that I have. Any questions?
Was there any additional correspondence beyond those items included in the packet?
There was one, but it's included in there from Mr. Tolman. That was it.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the action? Does anyone wish to speak against the action? Does anyone have any neutral testimony?
Hi, my name is Jonathan Tolman. I'll forget the pleasantries there, but I just was speaking on 6A and the tax clock 4600. The agenda materials, if you look at it, it needs to be consistent with ORS 221.725. I just respectfully ask that the record include the exhibit and the exact location. Valuation support, it's supposed to have a market analysis, good faith. Okay, ORS 35 is good faith. It's supposed to have a proper analysis and appraisal by it. It was just bought in 03/2025. That doesn't mean that we circumvent any of the rules, okay? We have to follow the rules. There's a reason why we follow the rules. It's very important. If not, it does need to be noted. I just wish that we would follow the rules, especially when it's the laws, and be upfront about what we've signed when it comes to documents and going forward. I don't understand why this is that hard to communicate this stuff to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does the city manager wish to provide any rebuttal?
Sure. The real market value is $139,490. So I believe that answers his question. And that's based on the assessor's value in 2025, as was stated.
Okay, the public testimony portion of the hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion by the city council?
Now, this, after we declare this surplus, then we'll advertise somewhere that it's surplus,
This meeting is the advertising,
meaning that anyone will know that it's available for sale.
correct? I was
So
not
if
going to
they're
go
not online,
for
they won't know.
following, correct?
That seems a little strange to me.
How so?
Well, I guess that should encourage people to watch the city council
Would,
meetings.
and I mean, any land that the city has is up. It just is an inquiry. People just have to ask. I mean, we have the northeast front property, that's all for sale. Before it was listed, people could come to City Hall and like, hey, I want to buy this property. What do I have to do? I mean, it's just anyone looking out to get a piece of land. So that was my thought, was to not go out. There's no rush that the city has to do that. We're going to move the water in the pipe the same time that we'll move, we start on Northeast Front Street. The price is as listed. We bought it for 121,000. We're not going to go anywhere close to that. I mean, it's the real market value is 139. So yeah, if someone's willing to pay for it, then great. Let's sell it, make a little money.
No, I'm not opposed to selling it. It just seems.
I mean, it's the public notice was sent out, correct? So there was a public notice sent out too that goes, where does that go?
Newspaper.
So there you go.
So my question, kind of like along with her, is when we surplus land, is that the normal process? We put it online and
Yep.
like, we don't go above and beyond and we're like, hey, we got this land for sale.
No, the only difference is we did get a real estate agent for Northeast Front. We have talked about wanting to put signs up there, but the council has been cautious about doing that. We certainly could put up signs on Northeast Front. But again, you guys have not wanted to do that.
So I guess my question is, nothing malicious is happening.
No,
Okay.
no. I mean, it is like, again, it's in the paper, it's in the meeting notice, it is out there.
What paper is it in?
Probably in the classified section or a ad.
I mean,
Notices.
Or
and
an ad
then-
taken out. Yeah.
and that would be, is it on our Facebook thing too, or we just put it in the paper?
No, we don't. No worry there.
So, I mean, I certainly can, the way we do it is, we put it in the paper, I can put it on
How it's always
Facebook.
been done is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't, okay, that you answered the question.
yeah, this is our normal protocol.
Okay, any other discussion?
One thing to add along with that is I'll do the same process. We will do an executive session. If anyone makes an offer, I'll bring it to you guys, just like we've done in the past. The authorization is there for me to sell it. That is in the resolution, but same process. I go to you guys, explain the offer, what the possibility of what they would use it for, the amount, whatnot.
It turns out I do have a question, I think. So it's my understanding that if you buy a home and you try to sell it within the first 2 years that you own it, that you'll have to pay a capital gains tax on any money that you make. And so I'm curious if that applies to just land.
It does not apply to the city, to municipalities.
Oh, perfect.
Good
And
question.
it's a question off the table.
Any other discussions or questions? Okay. Moving on, the Chamber BCDA report is in the packet for you to review. And then ordinance 3-2026 economic opportunity analysis. So that would be City Manager Hammond or Planning Official McLean.
Oh. Carla, anything you want to add?
No, nothing I want to add.
Nor I.
So the first step is read by title.
I move to approve the reading by title only of ordinance 3-2026 and ordinance adopting the City of Boardman Economic Opportunities Analysis.
And I'll second that.
Motion second, any counselor discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Now me. Ordinance 3-2026, an ordinance adopting the City of Boardman Economic Opportunity Analysis.
I move,
go ahead, adoption.
sorry. I move to adopt ordinance 3-2026 and ordinance adopting the City of Boardman Economic Opportunities Analysis.
And I'll second that.
Motion is second, any counselor discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 And any opposed? Okay. Moving on to resolution 5-2026, surplus real property.
I move to approve resolution 5-2026, resolution declaring City of Boardman real property as surplus.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Is there any counselor discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Another resolution 6-2026, authorize opening a non-interest bearing account for the U.S. Small Business Administration's Fund.
I'll second, sorry. I move to approve resolution 6-2026, a resolution authorizing opening a non-interest bearing account for the U.S. Small Business Administration funds.
Second that.
Any discussion? Got a question, Brenda? Nope.
I don't have a question.
Okay. Any counselor discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 And any opposed? Okay. Action item, appoint Park Advisory Committee.
So this is what we've talked about, getting a group together as, again, council advisory to the council to give input as we get ready for next fiscal year. The plan is to do a parks master plan. The hope is to have this committee give input to that and then do next steps. Any questions?
No? Is there a motion?
I move to appoint Ethan Salata, Mike Connell, Taylor Whiteman, Norma Ayala, and a member of the Youth Advisory Committee to the Parks Advisory Committee to serve in an advisory capacity to the City Council to provide input on park policy, funding priorities, and support implementation of the PMP. The duration of this appointment will be for the 2026 calendar year or until modified by action of the City Council.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Is there any counselor discussion?
Is there any way to add another counselor?
Yes, there is. It would be amazing.
I would love to be on this committee.
Perfect. I would love to be off this committee.
Oh, snap. Well, I'm not booting you out.
Yeah, you are.
Sounds like you're trying to give me your shoes.
Yeah. Yep.
Do we need to move to modify the motion to remove Ethan Salata and add Brenda Connell, Brenda Profit. Sorry. She's good.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then action item, appoint Youth Advisory Committee.
Okay. So this really has been a long time coming. Working on this, that's I believe it was Mayor Kiefer who kind of started it, initiated it, and then we looked into it, checked it out. Working with the high school, these individuals had the opportunity. They all accepted the opportunity. Their parents have given them permission. This is just that first step into, we'll see how it goes. Let's see the feedback they get, and then we'll determine if we want to keep moving this forward. So, any
Okay, did you have
questions?
the motion?
Move to appoint. Oh, I'm not reading this. Sorry.
I'll read it. I move to appoint Alejandra Lopez Corona, Alondra Cortez Madrigal, Andrea Guzman Madrigal, Erica Vargas Acosta, Jeremiah Calvillo, Kaylee Christie, Madden Morton, and Martin Martinez Vasquez to the Youth Advisory Committee for the remainder of the 2026 or 2025-2026 school year.
Second that.
Okay, motion and a second. Any counselor discussion? Do we have an idea of when we're talking about the Youth Advisory Committee, what their role would be?
Yep. So the initial, I really do imagine I'll meet with them twice this year. The first one, I mean, the ultimate goal is to give them experience, to teach them, expose them to local government. But I want their feedback. So the first discussion will be, hey, tell me what your thoughts are. They will be a committee report. So anytime they're on this and they have a name attached to it, they'll be given a report, and the hope is that they're giving the council feedback of what they see, what they would like to see in the community. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. We want them to be actively participating in our process.
I would say a handful of these kids I'm seeing, I know, and they're good on this committee. This will be good.
Is this a group that would take the like League of Oregon Cities?
It absolutely possibly could. I mean, and like throughout the state, there are people that they go to Washington, D.C. I mean, the way scale this up can be pretty neat. And again, this is juniors and seniors right now. It would be neat to have like 7, 12 at pot, but again, kind of work into it. I definitely would want the older kids to be mentoring the younger kids. So we need to get that going and them comfortable with the process.
It would also be nice to be able to take them to the state legislature while they're in session and have an opportunity to meet their district reps and their district senators. Yep.
And we have done that at Mayor Kiefer took 6th graders last year to visit with the rep and stuff. Yeah. So.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Action item, appoint Housing Capacity Analysis Public Advisory Committee.
Yep. Carla?
Yeah, and I just want amendment to the motion that's presented there. Many of you are aware of the tragic accident that happened on January 2nd. And so we've talked with Mr. McCarty. And so for now, please remove his name when you make the motion. But otherwise, this is just like we've done with several others. This is the Public Advisory Committee that will support the housing capacity analysis. That project is underway. It has kicked off. We've had a project management team meeting, which just means staff with the consultant. We've had a data request. They're beginning to collect data. So like tonight with the EOA, you saw the employment lands, buildable lands inventory. There will be a residential lands, buildable lands inventory that will be created that will be a support to the housing capacity analysis, as well as significant, I'll be kind and say guidance by the state in this process. So happy to answer any questions. I'll know a whole lot more as we get into the process more. These are all new rules that we're operating under to adopt this to do and adopt this housing capacity analysis. Boardman is the first in line. We are the guinea pig. So I don't know what that means to the process, but we'll do all we can to get it right.
I just have one comment. Dan Del Toso's name has an A in his surname.
He gave me the name.
D-A-L-T.
He gave me the name.
All right, so
we'll get it right when we do everything else. But thank you for pointing that out. I've known Dan for a number of years. I probably should have caught it. So,
thank you. And before I accept the motion, I need a nomination of a counselor prior to to the motion?
It's all things housing.
You know how I am about housing, but I'm already on the other housing committee. So
As am I.
as is Karen.
The commitment for this is through this calendar year. We should be done with this project by September or October. So
How many meetings?
I think we have 4 PAC meetings.
Over a 7-month period.
Yeah. So it's like every 6
Can
weeks.
I
or so.
attend by Zoom?
Absolutely. They will all be available by Zoom.
You would
you
do
would,
it?
I would
Yes,
do
please
it.
do it. I nominate Heather.
Okay.
So I move to appoint Heather Baumgartner, Rod Taylor, Juan Reyna, Travis Hyder, Vivi Torres, a representative of Good Shepherd, Dan Del Toso, Karen Guillen Chapman, and Don Hurt to the Housing Capacity Analysis Public Advisory Committee to serve in an advisory capacity to the City Council for the duration of the development of the housing capacity analysis, which is anticipated to be completed by fall of 2026.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Any counselor discussion?
Will they offer advice or to the other housing committee? Will they work in together, or this is something separate? I guess is just for my own knowledge.
Right. So it's 2 very different and distinct outcomes.
Okay.
But I am working very close with Nathan Wildfire now on the scope of work that they're doing for their development plan. And I think that there will be a lot of staff collaboration between the work they're doing, the housing capacity analysis, and the consultant team that's working on our comp plan and development code piece. How much of that translates into collaboration between the committees is yet to be seen, but I think there may actually be more opportunity for collaboration. I think data generation from the HCA will inform your housing group as well as the comp plan and development code. I think as far as collaboration, it's more between for the housing capacity, the development piece that you guys are pushing forward. There's going to be more collaboration between that and the comp plan development code side.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, action item, adopt emergency action plan.
Chief, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. Obviously, you should have a copy of the emergency action plan. Sometime back in 23, I think is when we approved that, maybe 24. Was it 24? So it appears that we intermingled parts of our emergency action plan with our emergency operations plan. And when I was reviewing the action plan to update it based on the fires that we had earlier last year, to update the evacuation process, I noticed that those 2 were intermingled. So what we've done is updated the action plan, which is what the city should operate on as a whole, the entire city. And then I believe staff has developed and are working on the operations plan to try to implement at another time, which would be what the actual employees of the city, if something happened here at the city hall or one of our buildings. So what I would do is bring your attention to the evacuation process. The only thing that we did was update the evacuation, what gives us the authority for evacuation, under what rules, both ORSs, and depending on the emergency, who has that role. So, and where we would potentially put people in an evacuation process. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but I would ask that you approve the changes to that plan.
Move to adopt the City of Boardman Emergency Action Plan as the city's official document.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any counselor discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to public comment. This public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings, and our council takes community input into consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't the time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Our city manager will direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comments or questions. Anyone may speak on any topic other than matter in litigation, a quasi judicial land use matter, or a matter scheduled for public hearing at some future date. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. When your name is called, proceed to the podium and speak clearly into the microphone. Begin by stating your name and address, and then express your view or offer your suggestions in a courteous and considerate manner. Remember to direct all remarks and questions to the council through the mayor. It is not appropriate to address the audience or the staff directly. And I am here in lieu of the mayor. Do we have anyone that has filled out?
I received a card at the beginning of the meeting from Mr. Collin, but needed to specify when he was getting.
Okay, we'll go ahead and allow him at this time the 3 minutes.
I just wanted to say all the above. That's why I just said on file, all the above. Okay, first of all, you guys had a workshop. Thank you. I listened to it. I was online. This is very important. In 2020, we did a water bond, and Karen emailed, I can forward this email over to you, that there was, at that time in 2020, there was 914, thank you, Brandon. 914 water hookups, and there was 891 sewer hookups at that time. I don't know how much it is. This is stuff that we should have in the workshop that I think his name is Guy or Gal or whatever his name, from Anderson Perry. Okay, I want to be respectful. Then I want to throw in here, I've put this to the record. The city of Boardman used 1.865 billion gallons of water last year. That needs to be in the allotment as well too, as far as what we're using. And then if you do the numbers on 1.865, it's saying that the residential use is 11.3 of that is 209 million gallons. I don't really think that of that 1,000 people of the hookups that we're using 209 million gallons. These are numbers that we should go over. Now, another thing that really is, why can't we ask the question? And Ethan, thank you for proving me wrong. I really do appreciate that. I really mean that, okay? Why can't we say who is the big factors in driving it? Never mention the word Amazon. I believe that's because you guys have signed non-disclosures, except for you, Ethan. Okay. To me, that means that you should be asking questions. How much is being used? Who's using it? We just had, you guys made $2.9 million over by the land that we sold, and you used $1 million for a booster station, for a water booster station for the Port of Morrill. Why are we investing that money? We have 400 million in reserves, okay? And we're asking our constituents to pay 10 to 12% extra. And then I do the math on this. I mean, 62% according to your past budget with the workshop is used by the Port of Morrill. Then that means the rest of it, 27%, is used by the city commercial accounts, schools, city facilities, other non-residential metered customers, irrigation. There are so many dynamics, but the best analogy is if you and I go in on a car and I use it 95% of the time or 90% of the time, I shouldn't have to pay for everything. There's no way. If you're coming in behind me, why aren't we talking about the main driver of that, especially when you put on there that it's for industrial users for data centers? Why can't we ask these questions? These are tough questions that we won't even ask. And I don't think I'm asking for too much on that. Why? It makes me think that the whole process is tainted. Is it tainted? Can you ask that question? This is public comment. Let's get to the answers and not beat around the bush. And don't put it in a workshop. Put this out for residents. I want to put in my input and show. Don't hide behind the city council. Put it in there. Let's work together. I promise you, we work together. Everybody's a lot happier. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
I want to put this all in the record.
Okay. So we're moving on to reports, police report.
Everybody should have a copy of the month-end report for January. There's nothing out of the ordinary. I will say that our DUIs have still plagued us. We're still having 2, 3, 4 DUIs a weekend. as staff is available to handle those. So I am excited to say that our last candidate from the academy graduated this last Friday. We attended graduation. She's back starting her FTO as of Monday. So she'll be in FTO for the next several months, but positive thing to have most of the positions filled, although most of them are in training. So we're going to get there. But aside from that, I don't have anything real urgent. So if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Building Department.
Good evening, everybody. So you all should have the same report that I have in front of me. I don't, Brandon didn't do the narrative one, I don't think. But anyway, we're just kind of plugging along. We're not overly busy, but it's coming because my tasks for plan review is quite extensive. 3 more data centers and some new houses, some new duplexes. So it's going to start picking up again.
Woo!
Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Public Works,
So you guys should have a report in front of you.
if you want to come up to the microphone.
Okay. You guys should have a report in front of you. I'm trying to see as much as possible on my phone. We've been busy for most of the part of the month. We've been doing a lot of water repairs, hydrant repairs, water leaks. We've been gradually busy the whole month. We've been doing a lot of GIS to update our system for Anderson Perry that does all our infrastructure analysis. We've been doing a lot of wastewater, repairing lift stations, inspecting sewers. Well, you guys have the list. If you guys have any questions, I can answer them specifically to something. No questions? Thank you.
When are they going to turn the lights on?
They're hopefully we will know more about it on Thursday. We have a meeting with them and they'll be done.
Well, we love the street. Me too.
Okay. Planning Department.
Somebody was tall. So you do have the report in there. Happy to add anything to it. I changed it up a little bit. I think the most exciting thing that happened in the last couple of days is we went live with our 3rd platform. If you go to the building, the planning, or the public works page, right on the facing page, we've had our citizen serve opportunity there for a while. We've had our urban form opportunity there since November. We now have a GIS interactive map opportunity. We were able to take our TSP maps and I don't know how it works in the background, but they took the data to be able to make, so you can go in and actually see the maps for our functional classifications, future roads, they're all in there. We've got more data than we knew what to do with from the Parks Master Plan. We've got 4 different level of service maps in there. And over time, we're going to think about how to use the data we have differently. We have a sidewalk inventory map that's there, so you can see where sidewalks are and where they're not. We have a zoning map and we have a basic infrastructure map. We have a lot more data on the city side. What we have there is appropriate public facing information. So you can see where fire hydrants are. You can see where a water line or a sewer line is. If you're a developer and you have specific questions, you still need to reach out to staff to get those specifics. So it was exciting to see that happen. It's a conversation we've been having for a while and finally had the time to make it go live. So please head to one of our pages, take a look. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to use the little email somebody feature, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. If you have any question about anything else, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay. Do we have a report from the Housing Advisory Committee?
We do. We have Ricardo Rosales, who is going to,
He'll be tall enough for the microphone.
he's gonna share.
Hello, Ricardo Rosales, 705 Paul Smith Road, space 14. So I'm representing the Housing Advisory Committee. We're proposing that Boardman become a pilot city for the moderate income revolving loan program. The program was established by Senate Bill 1537 in the 2024 legislative session, allocating 75 million in general fund resources for the Housing Project Revolving Loan Fund. The program intends to support and expand very low, and moderate income housing production in the local communities across the state through a revolving loan structure. And some key program components of that is the city uses no interest loans from the state to make grants or loans to developers for construction of workforce housing. The moderate income revolving loan fund funding allows developers to sell homes or rent apartments to people earning 120% of median income or less. Developers repay the funding over 10 to 15 years. Grant funding is repaid through a fee paid from property taxes, and then loans are repaid directly by the developer. Developers promise to keep rent or home sale prices at affordable levels during the 10 to 15 year repayment period. MIRL funding can be used to cover construction costs, infrastructure costs, rehab expenses, or writing down the cost of land. Sorry, that's my alarm.
He timed it. So perfect. And you have the same document that Ricardo read from. We also have Stephen Brooks online, and Ricardo, if you want to stay up there and answer any questions. But the basic concept is my very basic simple understanding is the state is offering $75 million to help with middle income housing. If a contractor wishes to participate, it's the only way they can in a build, they have to sign up. And they are going to be required to, if they do a rentals, then we get to establish what kind of rent they will charge. If they are going to sell a home, we get to establish what kind of price they will be able to charge. That is something that has been talked about from the very beginning.
This is a program that nobody has taken advantage of.
No one.
That was the first thing that came up was nobody in the state has done this.
No, and because it is so complex, and I'll let Stephen. No, I won't have him speak to that. But he is Stephen's been tasked to really bring this down so it can be brought out. Right now, you have Coos Bay, Tillamook are the only ones, correct?
Yeah, just briefly, the bill has been amended twice already. So part of the delay is that originally it was a grant-only program, and in the last session they changed it to either a grant or a loan, and now they're making technical changes in the current short session. So part of the reason that jurisdictions haven't used it yet is that the technical rules haven't been completely ironed out yet. There are some administrative pieces that we can get in place in the meantime, which is what we're working on with Coos Bay and Lincoln City. But it's really just aligning the paperwork so that when everything gets straightened out at the state level, we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, and on those same lines, so out of the 75 million, there is 10 million set specifically for rural areas, and we are the only ones that would be considered rural out of the cities that are participating. So that's pretty cool. It does take action because again, you are freezing, just like we do with urban renewal, you're freezing the area, and that tax that is being frozen is how you're repaying all this money. The loan, but I lost my train of thought. We're freezing it. What else, Stephen? We're freezing it, and then we get.
So the grant option functions similar to tax increment finance, where the developer pays a property tax and a portion of the tax payment is actually used to repay the loan from the city to the developer. The loan option doesn't involve that. One of the reasons that they added a loan option was so that the city and the county involved didn't have to have the tax increment kind of what they call a fee in lieu of tax setup happen. So the using property tax to pay the loan is now only one option. The other option is simply to have the developer pay the loan back through the normal process of loan repayment.
I think I think the other thing that I really appreciate about this program, if I understand it correctly, is that with the proper amount of oversight, developers will be giving a high quality home. They won't be shortcutting or doing anything to the interior, exterior that would keep it from being an adequate, well constructed home for a middle income family. But then the cost is really built around a specific dollar amount that becomes in that range for working families or middle income. But it requires a fair amount of oversight. And it is one of the things that the county or that the city council already contributed $5,000 to look into it further. So
if I could, I would agree that the value of the program is based on the idea that, particularly for single family homes, it's very difficult to build a single family home that's affordable to someone in the moderate income range without making a cheap product. And what this allows developers to do is build a regular product and kind of satisfy the gap between what it costs to build a regular product and what they could sell it for if they built it cheaply, basically. So the state is really funding a regular house versus a very cheaply built house. And I think I agree that that's one of the real benefits of this program.
And when Councilor Prophet mentions the oversight, it is going to be extensive. There is a 6% charge on the loan. 5% goes to the city, 1% goes to the county. And out of that 5%, the city would take 4% and pay someone to oversee it for us. So there will be someone on staff that would have a basic knowledge, but really running the program is going to be someone else that's paid out of, not our money, but it's out of this fee. Correct, Stephen?
Yeah, that's correct. Sorry. That's actually part of my work with the other jurisdictions is I'm working with an organization called CCD, which is an economic development agency that will be doing the program administration for all the cities in their service area, and they would probably be doing the same in other areas of the state, which again is using that fee so that you could get centralized administration, and the cities wouldn't be in a position where they'd have to try and figure out how to do the administration and oversight on their own. So yeah, that's correct.
And then really the next step of this is we have to pass an ordinance in order to move forward because again, of the tax freezement and, we have to have an agreement with the county, but our first step is to do an ordinance. Correct, Stephen?
That is correct. We have a model ordinance that, we would share with the city. It's a relatively straightforward document and process, but again, yes, it is the first step is the ordinance. The second step is to enter into an agreement with Oregon Housing and Community Services. That's the state agency administering the program. And then once that's in place, then you can go out and start soliciting requests for funding.
I don't know if this is the proper place and or we've talked about it and I didn't pay attention. Now, can we use this? Is urban renewal, because it would be really difficult, it seems to me like, that, can you use the urban renewal to put in the infrastructure and then get somebody like this to build the homes? Where you're freezing the taxes so nobody gets any money for 20 years?
No, that's in fact the program. This, if it's in an urban renewal district, sorry, let me be a little clearer. If an apartment building or a home is being built in an urban renewal district and they want to use this program, you have to use the loan mechanism. They don't let you use the what they call a fee in lieu of property tax, because that would violate the urban renewal law. So in any urban renewal district, this program has to be done as a regular loan. And again, so that it doesn't interfere with urban renewal activity.
Well, and you can't have them get no money. I mean,
Well, you're right. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
That doesn't help. Yeah. No, that's right. They, one of the changes they had to make was to make sure that the two rules didn't run into each other.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Cool. Anything else
It's,
to add?
it's
Ricardo?
exciting.
I do too. I mean, the very limited that I know, it's just a cool program that the state's offering. And we, as a city, get to reap the benefits, and you have someone run it for you. And so again, kind of. But after we can talk. Cool. That's all I got. Thanks, Ricardo.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you. City Manager.
Before I do mine, is there, Marta has a request. We need to add signers to something.
To the account that you just agreed to have us open, the non-interest bearing account. I need a motion for who you want as signers on the account. If we handle it like we do the escrow accounts, we've done 3 signers, which have been the mayor, the council president, and then one other member, because we got to do the signature cards and it takes a while for it to go through everyone. But it's completely up to you. But I do need a motion with who you want as the bank signers on that new account.
So we have to appoint one council person, is what you're saying?
At least 3.
Mayor, council president, someone else.
I move to appoint Heather Baumgartner, council president, I believe Ethan Salata. Is it Christina Cuevas? Sorry, Christina Cuevas and Mayor Kiefer as signers for this new account that we just created. I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Cool. So mine is just real quick. So as we keep progressing, like with roads, doing Main Street, and we're already, the next goal is we have Northeast Front that was approved by you guys to go out for a Biz Oregon loan. Oregon Trail will follow at the end of next fiscal year. I just, in my mind, I'm thinking of like, how do we get ready for the future? And that's like being prepared with certain roads, being prepared with certain plans and policies and procedures, making sure that we're meeting all the safety requirements. Again, and I connect that with the water rates and the sewer rates. And again, it's not like we do everything at once, but it is just trying to be organized. And it's that my cleaning mentality. I just, there's a few things that just bug me. And it's hard for me to let go. It's a personality thing. I apologize. Those of you who have worked with me in the school are very much aware of that. But are we feeling that that is like kind of the direction we want to go when it talks about capital improvement projects? And like, is that's just, I'm trying to get a feel.
Well, what's CIP?
The capital improvement projects?
Isn't that our guidelines for the next?
Yeah, yep. And it should be,
Are
yep.
you wanting a small one for everyday work?
Nope. I don't want, I don't want anything.
Are you sure? We could
I've
probably,
I've got a list for you.
we could probably get on that.
I feel like you're asking, do you feel like we're moving in the right direction?
Yeah, basically, is there?
That's because I called and complained this morning about all the traffic impediments in Boardman right now.
No, nothing wrong with that. Ask away.
Well, I think I was going to save it for, well, I'll still save it for council comments, but if you're asking a very specific question, then I would say yes. Like, yes, we're moving forward. We don't have cracks in our roads and you know, I'll use Paul Smith as an example. It doesn't look like that anymore. You know, like we don't have potholes anywhere. We're getting street lights. Like that is the purpose of the city and the reason why we do the things that we do, you know. Like I think people lose sight of that in general, and I think we are moving in the right direction. Well, does everybody agree on it? Probably not.
You don't have your list and my list don't match.
Potholes.
Well, but the point is like it's slowly improving.
Yeah, it takes time.
Like if you've lived here as long as, you know, say me and Karen have, you know, or Heather, you'll know what the town looked like before, you know, and compared to now, yes, it's improved dramatically.
And it's built on what everyone's done prior, right?
Yes.
I mean, I just don't, yeah, that was the main thing. And is there a safety thing? Again, trainings are big. And when you look at like the finance of the water fund and sewer fund, yeah, we go up because we have a bunch of CDL drivers that we paid for. There's a bunch of trainings, you know, we're getting more equipment. Just trying to get prepared for the future. And not everyone sees that, but that does cost money. I mean, things are expensive and you either get mediocre employees and let them come and go like a revolving door, or you pay them. And that is expensive. And especially when you add we are PERS and that's not going away. Well, I won't get any, but no. But anyway, all of that costs money. And I just, you know, want to make sure that sounds okay.
I do.
Is he doesn't want to have any more meetings with me.
He doesn't want me calling and saying,
no, that's
growth is good, except it's a pain in the neck. I'm in favor of it. You know, I mean, I haven't lived here as long as some of y'all, but I've been here for almost 30 years. And when I moved here, there were very few homes. Only about 1,500 people living here. And you can still do 45 on Wilson. So, you know, I mean, it's changed since I've been here. And probably the biggest changes have happened in the last year or two with Main Street and the new road, the new loop road and some of that stuff. So with all the additional changes coming in the next 12 months, I feel like we're really changing the face of Boardman. People are surprised when they've been away and come back to see it. They're like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well, when did this happen?
Well, and I think we're able to do that because we passed a $23 million base that you can absolutely build on. Like the things that we can do as a town is because of a bond that was passed and infrastructure that's in place and all that stuff that you really never saw. So yeah, it is pretty cool to see what we're able to go forward with, but some of that comes uncomfortable conversations. And that stinks for you guys. There's such confusion where it's like, no, the mayor does not run the city. You know, the councilors, I mean, you guys do budget and policy. You're my boss. And that's it. It is all of, but there's certain things that it's like, it is all you guys. Water rate, sewer rate, that is all you guys. And that's hard because people don't like to see their fixed income change. But again, we need to make sure we're preparing for the future. And that really is, doing the best I can.
Well, he brings up a good subject. I think budgeting okay. I'll just tell you that this is like the pot calling the kettle black or blue or whatever. I think budgeting, our budget system should take more than one meeting. Now that I'm on
This side.
yes, because it's one thing to know all of the figures when I was on that side and I knew all the figures and I had the opportunity to look at them ahead of time. And they tell me now the law says that I cannot look at them ahead of time. That there is no way I can come in or a group of us can come in and look at the budget figures. So I think that now that I'm more interested in the budget on this side of the thing, that I think we should have more information at the budget meetings, and I don't think they should be one meeting. Because
We're not a small town anymore.
I think this is probably what the whole problem is. This is like you say, in the 70s, or I've been so long here, I can remember when we hired the first city manager and we hired the first police chief. And he didn't have to be the fire chief at the same time. Those budgets were like $20,000. It was still a lot of money in those days. But we're spending millions now. And I don't know, if you're not entitled to look at those figures or know those figures, then I guess I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with it, but I'll do whatever we've always been doing and come in with a list of figures on a sheet that say this is going to be what, to be honest, I don't even remember what we called the budget or what the line items are. But it just seems to me like that now that our budget is so big and there's so many things are just so different that I think we ought to consider that. So I'm happy you brought up something about the budget.
I said the CIP, there's nothing about the budget.
Just to clarify.
But that was, and you guys are doing council.
Since Karen opened Pandora's box, I want to go on record. I appreciate the planning meetings because I think those help us to get down and dirty and figure out what we want to know more about or what we are trying to make decisions on. We learn more about it. But a few years ago, and I'm going to probably maybe 3 years ago, I started thinking about the city of Boardman and how fast things change and how much information we need in order to make the good decisions, to be mindful, planful, proactive about making the city of Boardman the city we want it to be. And so I started looking around and I started at Umatilla. I wanted to find another city that had 5,000 to 7,000 people. And so Umatilla was as close as I could get. And they're meeting twice a month. Their city councils are meeting twice a month. Don't raise your eyebrows at me. And the idea was that because they have so much happening there, they need to have additional meetings to support that. And I'm not saying that I want additional meetings, Ethan.
Oh, I think we should have like 4 or 5. I mean,
but
living here.
Yeah. Pretty rare, right?
I do think there's a lot of things happening that it would be beneficial for us to, and then I've complained all fall because we were meeting 3 or 4 times a month. But I think that it's reasonable to see something like that in the future, just because of how big we're getting and how much is happening here regularly.
just want to go on record and say that I do not want to be compared to Umatilla County City Council.
Oh, well, I
But-
don't know anything about their council. I was looking at their
The papers.
population.
It's in the papers. My comment was actually along the lines with Karen is that we the times that we have done projects that are in the CIP have been good financial decisions, right? It's because we've had grants, we've had opportunities that it would just be it would not make sense for us to not do that, right? And so when we are dealing with people's money, I think that that is why it's so important for us to be looking at those very closely. And rather than having as many meetings, I do like when we did have like the retreat. I think that there are times that you need to have those increases in meetings because things come up. But I think that there's also something to be said about when we're looking at the longevity of plans, right? If we're looking at, 10, 20 years versus, hey, this next year, we really need to do something about this issue. I think that there are differences in that.
The retreat word.
In the summer.
In the summer.
At the beach.
Are we on?
At Cannon Beach.
Are we on? Not that I want
Arctic 40's not the beach.
Well, we were responding to city
No,
manager's
I'm just-
report about CIP.
No, I'm just
'cause
asking.
He
That's all.
decided to ask a very general question about whether we are in agreement with the CIP. So I think that that's where our discussion was. But any other discussion
For the manager?
for the city manager?
Well, I didn't understand that was what he was asking us about.
That was the
CIP.
specific question. Yeah, CIP.
The original question was, how do you like what's happening in Boardman?
Okay, counselors, any reports?
I don't have a report. I was gonna save the rest of what I was gonna say for the counselor comments and, so to kind of go along the lines of what you're saying is my comment would be like, things are improving. Like you also bring up a good point, like we are not frivolous with the money that we spend. Like the decisions are very well, in my opinion, in the last 2 years that I've been involved with, or close to 2 years, is things are thought out very thoroughly. We don't do things in jest. We don't do things on a whim, unless it's an emergency, we're not frivolous with our money. We try to make sure that we're very educated with our decisions. It's very easy to sit on the outside and say, oh, you're not doing this, or you're not doing that, or you're a liar, and, or whatever it is. I get tired of being called a liar all the time when it's not true. And so, people can say whatever, but at the end of the day, if you sit through and you read all the information, if you don't understand it, just admit that you don't understand it. Go find out from somebody that does. And I feel like that's what I tell people. If I don't understand something, I try to point them in the right direction. But I also try to be informed as best I can so I can at least give them somewhat of an answer, whether it's with the city or just anything in general. And like I tell my kids, if you don't know the answer, look it up online. Everybody's got a smartphone. You have access to every answer known to mankind at your fingertips, and you'd be surprised how many people don't use it. And it's easy to just say, well, you tell me this. And it's like, well, you have the same information access here, or on your home computer or whatever. Go look it up. I know how to do it. Why can't you do it? And so I guess for me, when I come to every meeting and every meeting's like, oh, you're a liar and you're saying this or whatever, it's like, okay, at some point, like just look up the information and figure it out. We're not doing anything malicious. Not that I know of. Everything's public information. And if it's not, you can get it. Pretty simple. And I think that we're doing a good job regardless of some people's public opinion. Look around. We get to see the results. Okay. You talk about being proactive. Yes, we have to be proactive. Okay, we have to think ahead 20 years, 25 years or whatever, because that's the nature of it. Okay. And I think people lose touch with that and realize that you can't just, government doesn't work like that. So anyways, I think we're doing good things. I don't care what anybody else says. So.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Well, I'm just looking at this, at the city
CIP.
manager's report and the CIP projects. And if you go and look at them, we've completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them this year. You know, I mean, that's a really great thing to say about our community and the hard work that our staff and stuff does for us. So, yeah, no, I think that, I think people should be proud to, I think people should be proud, and I think most people are, to live in our community. I think you can't be concerned about the naysayers.
All the time.
Yeah, maybe I have to rephrase that, but anyway, you know, because you, as a whole, you're just moving the community where you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, it just, you know, and there's always things to do. Money to spend. If you have it, so.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, not this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
I didn't even talk until 9.
I could have said more, but I didn't want to.